Knock, knock. Welcome to the 2020 meeting of the Florissant City Council. Due to COVID-19 pandemic and by order of the governor of the state of Missouri, and the St. Louis County Executive, the council meeting will be conducted remotely with the council, mayor, staff, and residents being allowed to attend through a Zoom platform. The meeting will also be available to watch via live streaming on. You have joined us in the Zoom meeting.
I assume you can.
Keep your microphones on mute until you are called upon to speak. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, Egan. Egan is there. Where'd he go? Here he is. Look at him. Caputa.
Here.
Shildroth. Is he on the phone? Hanky.
He's trying to get on.
Pagano.
Here.
Parson.
Present.
Siam.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Manganelli.
Here.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to mute everybody.
At this time, Mr. Hessel wants to make a few statements. Mr. Hessel?
I would, Mr. President. Thank you. Hopefully we won't have to continue to do this. But the Sunshine Law, in particular, Section 610.015 of the Missouri Sunshine Law provides that members of the City Council who are not physically present at the council chambers can participate and vote on all matters when an emergency exists, and the nature of the emergency must be stated in the minutes. As the council president noted at the outset of the meeting, COVID-19 pandemic that exists, as well as the orders from the governor of the state of Missouri and the county executive. We simply ask that the minutes reflect the existence of this emergency as the justification for holding this meeting remotely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hessel. Next item is approval of minutes. Are there any corrections and additions to the special meeting minutes of April 13th? Seeing none, Ms. Pagano moves to approve the minutes, second by myself. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Minutes are approved. Next item is hearing from citizens. This is the time to speak to the council on any issues not necessarily on the agenda for 3 minutes. If you are in attendance and would like to speak, and if you have not done so, please type your name and address in the chat box so you can be called upon to make your comments under this section.
I'm not seeing any at this point.
Not seeing any? Thank you.
Give it just a second. Yep.
Mr. President, if I would, I'd like the minutes to reflect that Councilmember Shildroth has now joined the meeting remotely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hessel.
Yeah, I don't have any comments.
Thank you. Next item is communication, which we have none. Next item is public hearing. Public hearing number 2004015.
A public hearing will be held by the Florissant City Council on Monday, April 27, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in order of the governor of the state of Missouri, the council meeting will be conducted remotely, with the council, mayor, and staff and residents being allowed to attend through Zoom platform. Public hearing will be held on the following proposition: to issue an amendment to B5 ordinance number 6266 as amended by ordinance numbers 6380, 8064, and 8224 to allow for additional permitted uses in a B5 zoning district for the property located at 3180 North Highway 67. citizens and parties of interest will have an opportunity to be heard at said public hearing. Anyone with special needs should contact city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Goodwin, is a petitioner present?
Yes. And that would be Alice. Yes. And who else is for?
Dan?
Dan, yes.
Okay.
Okay. I got Alice and Dan unmuted. Anybody else? Okay, you're good.
Alice, Dan, could you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Dan Dakovic, 600 Emerson Drive, Creve Coeur, Missouri, 630-141.
Thank you.
Alice Benner, 600 Emerson Road, Suite 210, Creve Coeur, Missouri, 63141.
Thank you. Yes, you two are proposing. So you have the floor and explain to us what your plans are, and so whoever wants to speak first.
I'll go ahead. So we have the former Lowe's property at 3180 North Highway 67 under contract with the Lowe's Corporation. As a part of our contract with the Lowe's Corporation, they're wanting to put a deed restriction on the property to be only used as a property, to not be used as a property that is a home improvement store. Per the B5 zoning and the ordinance number 6266, this property is only available for use currently as a hardware store. So that's where we are in a conundrum. We have a seller that wants to sell the property and they want to deed restrict it to a home improvement store, and then we have the zoning that says that it cannot be used for home improvement store. So what we're proposing here is a change of the ordinance on this and removing that part where it says that the property can only be used for home improvement store.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Alice, would you like to add something?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Any questions, sir? Mr. Hinkie.
Karen, I couldn't find to raise your hand.
I also couldn't find it. I'm sorry. I was looking for it.
Oh, what am I going to do with you? Okay.
Well,
I found it.
Anyway, my main question was, what are, you're not going to put this in there. And I was reading from the planning and zoning minutes and that you really don't know what is going to go in there yet. What are your ideas?
So we have, we don't have any currently signed LOIs or any currently signed contracts on the property. We know that the property it's got its pros and it's got its cons. We want to take it on and buy it and improve it. However, to do so, we need to know that once we close on this property, we can actually use it for something. Currently, we have some interest in leasing the property. We have a gym that's interested in leasing the property. We have also one of the trampoline parks that wants to use the property. And then we also have self-storage operators that want to use the property. So from the way that we see it, this is going to be a multi-purpose or multi-use property. It is not going to be just one use, just like it was when Lowe's was there. Those kind of large boxes are no longer viable in today's market. So we're going to probably have to chop it up into a couple of smaller uses.
Okay, I also noticed that there's no plans to modify the building as of yet, but what you're saying is most definitely it will be modified. The interior will be broken up anyway, and therefore the exterior also.
The interior will be broken up, definitely. The exterior, we don't have any major plans of redoing the exterior. We would possibly, if we get 2 or 3 tenants, we would possibly put bigger entrances on the signs where the tenant entrances are. So if you look at the current Lowe's store where the main entrance is, there's kind of a raised facade. So if we have 2 or 3 tenants, we would raise the facade where the entrances are. So again, the building itself is in a very, very good condition. Lowe's has taken a very good care of it. The way that we look at it is why knock something down or change something drastically if it has its use still. So
yeah, that's my only concern is changing the code and not really having a clue what's going to go in there, because it's whoever first come. Hopefully you want to fill it up, so whatever comes along would be basically allowable in there.
Well, that's not necessarily correct. If we want to change any way, shape, or the facade, the way the facade looks, we will have to go in front of planning and zoning as well. Again.
Oh no, I know on the building itself. I just meant the permitted uses in there.
There is a certain amount of permitted uses per the B5 zoning. However, it is currently zoned B5. The problem that we have is that it only has one zoning as opposed to everything else that was supposed to come with it. As we understand, for the planning and zoning, this was kind of, it wasn't a norm for this to be done this way. Typically, it would say, it needs to be used for home improvement store and any other uses associated with B5 zoning. This one does not have that or in the use.
Okay, and don't misinterpret what I'm saying here. I'm not saying I'm against it at all. It's just a little thing when you really don't know what's going to go in there. But like I said, I'd rather have something viable in there than a vacant building.
We don't. And I know, I understand completely. Here's the problem that we would be having, and I'm completely transparent with this. Lowe's is a huge corporation, and they're not very amenable when it comes to having a contract on one of their buildings. They want a fast closing. They want a old cash closing, and they're not stepping down from them. So we are having to kind of modify how we typically do it. If we were a typical developer and we would come over here, put this building under contract, we would go look for tenants, then we would come to you guys, propose something, then we would be able to close on a building after we had tenants. In this situation, we're very much banking on your guys' help, on the help of City of Florissant, that we will be able to do what we want to do and that we will be able to redevelop this property. Otherwise, I think anybody who comes into our shoes is going to have even a harder time because, again, we're going into this with no financing contingency. We're paying all cash. And we're going into this with a short timeline to acquire this. So, again, we're kind of bending as well to be able to purchase this property.
Sounds good. Good luck to you, and I have no further, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Henke. Mr. Parson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Henke kind of asked some of the questions that I wanted to know, which basically was, is it going to be multiple, is this building going to be used for multiple businesses or not? And I heard you say something about a trampoline park. I spoke to an elementary school in February, and all of them were asking when Florissant was going to get a trampoline park. So if that happens, you're going to be a huge hit in Florissant. But in addition, though, I know that you said that they want to put a restriction on the sale. I don't know if you're able to make us privy as to why they want to restrict you using it as a home improvement store or a hardware store. A lot of people in the community were thinking, that building would be something good for like a Menards or something like that. But, is there a reason that you can disclose to us as to why there would be that restriction?
So this is a typical thing that big national retailers do. They obviously Lowe's was doing poorly at this location, right? And Home Depot is doing much better across the road. What they're trying to do is they're trying to protect their turf, call it, and not put any more stores in the area. To us, it doesn't particularly make any sense, because if they were not performing in this location, why would you want to prohibit anybody else from coming there? But again, it's dealing with the large company politics, once we introduced a couple of things to them, we didn't get too far. So,
okay, that sounds good. Thank you so much and for your answers. I appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Parson. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. My question was along the lines of the restrictions the seller wants to put on it as well. That's concerning to me. And I'm wondering if it's just hardware restrictions in general, or is it a percentage of a profit from certain types of sales? And what is the length of the restrictions, if you know that?
It is only a restriction on a hardware store. So basically their competitors, Lowe's, Menards, et cetera, Ace. The restriction is for 25 years, I believe.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I know of another situation that happened where it came to grocery stores and that caused a bind years later. But I agree with Mr. Parson that I know a lot of kids and a lot of families that would love the trampoline park, but I'm sure you're going to study and find out what will work well there. So I'm happy that you're interested, and I hope it works out. Thank you.
We have been working with Travis Wilson in your guys' economic development, and we're trying to find out what the community really needs. Because if we can figure out what the community needs, and we can bring it to the community, I think both of us win. The community wins and we win.
Absolutely.
This is a long-time tenant, so that's kind of mostly our approach to redeveloping some of these troubled projects. So.
Okay, can I have one more question? Is there any kind of tax requests, or I think that across the street is the TIF that we had. Does that have any restrictions on this or any bearing on this development?
We don't have anything currently in plan for that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Siam.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have very many questions. I spoke with Dan over the phone last week, so I just wanted to say to you and Ms. Bennard, thank you for being willing to invest in this property and redevelop it. It was a big disappointment to our community when Lowe's closed down, and some of the other properties in that area as well. Some of the other stores in that area closed down, and so I fully support this and would be glad to see it redeveloped again. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Egan. I'm sorry, Mr. Maganelli.
Egan.
I'm ready. Am I okay to go?
Yeah, Egan was the next one.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Egan.
Okay, am I ready? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This question may be for staff or for Mr. Hessel. I'm not quite sure. We have an ordinance that specifically forbids adult daycares and child daycares in strip malls. Mr. Hessel, if I can go to you, how would this fit into that ordinance?
Those restrictions still would be applicable.
Okay,
even though it's a B5, the restrictions are still applicable.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all I have. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Yes, I know there was a few questions asked what the changing of the zoning. No matter what they develop, they still would have to go through plan and zoning in front of the city council to be approved for. So just to clarify that, correct, Mr. Hessel?
Well, certainly if you approve the B5, then that will resolve the issues as far as the uses are concerned. But when a site plan comes forward, they certainly would have to have a site plan approved by the Planning and Zoning and City Council.
Yes, okay. I just wanted to make sure we clarify that because there was a few questions about that. Is there anyone else?
If you want to speak on this, make sure you put your name and address in the chat box.
Yes, before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who'd like to comment on this evening? Please type your name and address in the chat box.
Sorry. I don't have any.
Okay. Seeing none. Councilman Cyan moves to close this public hearing, second by Mr. Egan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
I don't have any.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The public hearing is closed. Thank you, sir. Next item is public hearing number 2004016.
Public hearing will be held by the Florissant City Council on Monday, April 27, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and by order of the governor of the state of Missouri, the council meeting will be conducted remotely with the council mayor and staff and residents being allowed to attend through the Zoom platform. To authorize a special use permit to Premier Auto Service Incorporated, DBA Premier Auto Service, to allow for an auto service and repair facility located 1890 and 1990 North Highway 67. Citizens and citizens will have an opportunity to be heard, and with special needs to contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TTD 839-5142.
Is a petitioner present? Yes. Okay, Joe. Unmute, please.
You're good.
There you go. Okay, Joe. Tell us what your plans are, and to the city council and to the public.
Yes, Mission Hills, Glenn Travers, which owns GMT Auto, also owns Premier Auto Service near the intersection at Lindbergh and Florissant Road. Premier Auto Service has been there for a number of years, and their business has been really good. They do a lot of automotive service work there, and they're out of service bays. They need some more bays contiguous to this property. Mr. Travers owns the building that's noted that we're asking the special use permit for at 1890 and 1900 North Highway 67. It is bounded by a common property line that opens up to the existing Premier One Auto Service facility. And what we're proposing to do is to take a portion of this building. It's about a little over 3,000 square feet. We want to take a 1,700 square foot portion of it that's masonry and take it down to the foundation and rebuild it higher. The building isn't large enough to have lifts in for auto service, but what we're proposing to do is take that piece down and reuse the foundation and build the new masonry walls higher to accommodate the larger, higher service doors, the drive-in doors, and to install lifts to get us 4 additional bays that would be in addition to what they currently have at the facility on Florissant Road. And I think we've, on the packet that you were sent, there was a survey in there, plus the floor plan that shows the portion of the building that's being rebuilt, and the 4 automobiles in there that would be serviced or fit into that portion of the building. The balance of the building would remain as is, but this building would be overhauled. And what we've done with planning and zoning in the new construction, the existing building portion that's going to remain does have a brick front on it. So we're going to match that as closely as possible on this elevation that faces Highway 67 and return it 14 feet 5 inches down the west side, and then use a colored split face block with integral color and integral waterproofing agent for the balance of the building, and then repaint. The existing building's got a little stucco on it that we'll repaint to match everything. That's the way we had proposed it and had it approved through the Planning and Zoning Commission. Both of them, building will have a truss roof just like the existing facility.
Okay. Mr. Hinkie.
Today, it all looks fine to me. I mean, I think it'd be a good addition. You're aware of the restrictions the planning and zoning put on as far as the parking and the amount of cars that can stay there.
Yes, sir. One good thing is because the site shares a common property line, most all the service parking is already intact on the existing Premier lot. This just opens an avenue to get cars that need to be serviced from the Premier lot to this building without traveling around Florissant Road. And this is kind of an ancillary building. There's no direct public contact or anything. It's just we don't have the room to add 4 bays onto their existing facility. This was the next best thing, but at least keeps it all secure under one lot.
Well, that sounds great to me, and I'm glad you're in Florissant and doing well enough to expand. Good luck. Thank you.
He has a very good service business there. They turn cars a lot, and that lot's always full of cars to be serviced.
Nothing further, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkie. Anyone else? Mr. Egan, did you?
Yes.
Mr. Egan.
And thank you very much. Mr. Dale, I believe that Mr. Travers owns the GMT in my ward. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And is he the owner also of this repair operation, or is he in collaboration with someone on this?
No, this is all filed under Mission Hills Development Company, which is owned exclusively by Mr. Travers. That entity holds his real estate for the building.
Okay, that makes sense. What are the hours that they're going to be running the auto repair?
These are the general service hours. I think that right now they're working from like 7 till about 4:30 or 5, and I think they work a half a day on Saturday. It wouldn't be any different than what they do right now at Premier.
All right, and I know that I would say that Mr. Travers has always been a great, great business in our ward, and I'm glad to see that they're expanding his outreach in the city of Florissant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all I have for council. That's all I have for council.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dale. I have a question. Are you going to use local contractors on this project?
Yes, we are bidding this project. Now there's the bid area is a little bit bigger than just Florissant per se, but we are bidding and trying to use as much contractors that we can in the basic geographical area.
Yes. Okay.
But I can tell you also, we have no intent to bring anybody from out of town.
Okay, sir. That's all I have. No one else?
I do not have anybody else.
Anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this public hearing, please add your name and address in the chat box.
I do not see anyone.
Seeing none. Okay, Mr. Hinkie moves to close the public hearing, second by Mr. Parson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Public hearing is now closed. Thank you, Mr. Dale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is old business. Bills for a second reading. Bill number 9594. Mr. Hinkie moves for a second reading, second by myself. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No nays.
Ayes
I'm
have it.
gonna unmute. Okay. Ordinance to rezone for Dr. Elliot Leon, the property located at 1005 Dunn Road from R4 single family dwelling district to B3 extensive commercial district to be consistent with comprehensive plan.
Move for a third.
Ms. Pagano moves for a third, second by Mr. Shuldroff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to rezone for Dr. Elliott Leon, the property located at 1005 Dunn Road from R4 Single Family Dwelling District to B3 Extensive Commercial District to be consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Before the final vote is taken, is anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this bill? Please ask your questions in the chat room.
I have nothing.
Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Okay. Egan.
Aye.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Henke.
Yes.
Pagano.
Yes.
Parson.
Yes.
Siam.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Manganelli.
Yes.
Bill number 9594 passes and becomes ordinance 8610. Next item is bill number 9595. Mr. Hinkie moves for a second reading, second by myself. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to JP Morgan Chase Bank to allow for an ATM for the property located at 790 North Highway 67.
Third.
Mr. Hinkie moves for a third, second by Mr. Egan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to JP Morgan Chase Bank to allow for the ATM for an ATM for the property located at 790 North Highway 67.
Not mine. Before the final vote is taken, is anyone in the audience like to speak on this bill? Please ask your questions in the chat room.
The mud does.
I have nothing so far.
Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Egan.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Caputa.
That's not.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Henke.
Yes.
Pagano.
Yes.
Parson.
Yes.
Siam.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Manganelli.
Yes.
Bill number 9595 passes and becomes ordinance 8611. Next item is bill number 9596. Mr. Hinkie moves for a second reading, second by
Second.
Ms. Pagano. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to amend B5 ordinance number 8222 to allow for the expansion of an urgent care facility for the property located at 1090 North Highway 67.
Move for a third.
Ms. Pagano moves for a third reading, second by Mr. Hinkie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to amend B5 ordinance number 8222 to allow for the expansion of an urgent care facility for the property located at 1090 North Highway 67.
Before the final vote is taken, is anyone in the audience like to speak on this bill? Please ask your questions in the chat room.
I have nothing.
Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Egan.
Aye.
Caputa.
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Henke.
Yes.
Pagano.
Yes.
Parson.
Yes.
Siam.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Manganelli.
Yes.
Bill number 9596 passes and becomes ordinance 8612. Bill number 9597. Mr. Siam moves for a second reading,
Second.
second by Ms. Pagano. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to amend B5 ordinance number 6648 to allow for a sit-down carry-out drive-through restaurant for the property located at 1955 North Highway 67.
Move for a third.
Mr. Pagano moves for a third reading, second by Mr. Siam. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to amend B5 ordinance number 6648 to allow for a sit-down, carry-out, and drive-through restaurant for the property located at 1955 North Highway 67.
Before the final vote is taken, is anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this bill? Please ask your questions in the chat room.
And I have nothing.
Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for final vote.
Egan?
Aye.
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky?
Yes.
Pagano?
Yes.
Parson?
Yes.
Siam?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Manganelli?
Yes.
Bill number 9597 passes and becomes ordinance 8613. Bill number 9598. Mr. Siam moves for a second reading, second by Ms. Pagano. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to amend Table 13A, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets by adding thereto portions of Estates Drive.
Mr. Siam moves for a third reading, second by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance to amend Table 13A, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets by adding thereto portions of Estates Drive.
Before the final vote is taken, is anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this bill? Please ask your question in the chat room.
I have nothing.
Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for final vote.
Egan?
Aye.
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky?
Yes.
Pagano?
Yes.
Parson?
Yes.
Siam?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Manganelli?
Yes.
Bill number 9598 passes and becomes ordinance 8614. Bill number 9600.
Move for a second.
Mr. Shildroth moves for a second reading, second by myself. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance authorizing appropriation of $45,000 from the Property Revitalization Fund, of which $2,000 is appropriated to the budget account number 10510500010 Homeownership Assistance Program, and $43,000 is appropriated to budget account number 10510500020 Property Acquisition Program.
I'll move for third.
Mr. Shildroth moves for a third reading, second by Ms. Pagano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Ordinance authorizing appropriation of $45,000 from Property Revitalization Fund, of which $2,000 is appropriated to budget account number 10510500010 Homeownership Assistance Program, and $43,000 is appropriated to budget account number 10510500020 Property Acquisition Program.
Before the final vote is taken, is anyone in the audience that like to speak on this bill? Please ask your question in the chat room.
I have one question from Robert Smith that says, where are these funds currently? Do you want me to unmute him? Robert, you're unmuted.
Yeah, we seem to every fiscal year we seem to always overlook this particular account, and I'm trying to find out where these funds are currently.
Carol O'Mara is here, if we want her to speak.
Ms. O'Mara?
Carol, are you there?
Hold on 1 second. I am. Hold on.
I got you. You're unmuted.
Can you hear
You're
me?
unmuted. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
We got you.
Yes. So the Property Revitalization Fund was set up back in 2013. So those funds have already been set aside for these two programs. We just need an appropriation of the funds, and we do that when we have something to expend.
I know they're set up. I'm just asking, where are the funds? There are accounts for these funds. In 19, there's zero, and in 20, there's zero. And now you're asking for an appropriation where are the funds currently that you're appropriating from?
Well, the funds originally in 2013 came from the general revenue, came from the general funds, and that $500,000 was set aside back in 2013. So every year what we do is we reappropriate basically the balance, and that is the balance. So those funds have been set aside since 2013.
Okay.
So they're sitting in an account.
Where? What account according to the budget?
Well, the account numbers that Karen just read off, the Property Revitalization Fund.
Those accounts are zero right now.
That's why we need an appropriation, is to put the money into it.
Okay. So you're putting
But they've
money,
already been set aside.
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand that. What I'm asking you is, we seem to keep missing this particular account every year with adding or encumberancing those funds. So you're saying we need to appropriate them. I get that. I'm asking you, okay, they're sitting from 2013. They have to be accounted for every year.
And that would be a question for finance. I don't know. I don't know where the pot actually sits. But it would be just like, Robert, this would be just like our CDBG funds, where we get the monies, and then we do an appropriation so that we can actually spend them. Last year was the first year that they weren't initially put into the fund budget and the budget. That was the first year that happened. This year it did not happen either. That is something that we're going to make sure that we don't have to come back and do an appropriation, but it really doesn't. The funds have been set aside, so they're there. We're just asking for permission to spend them now.
Okay, so the bank account.
I don't know how simpler I can make that.
Yeah, I'm just, I guess the finance department's going to have to explain it, because I don't see these funds. I understand you can ask for an appropriation and they will approve it, but they have to appropriate it from somewhere. And I don't see from where. That's all I'm saying. And I made this.
Well, it came out back in 2013. So in 2013, they set it aside. Where they set it aside, I don't know. I don't have a checkbook. So
okay. That's
all I can say is that money has been set aside. Okay. And now we're just asking to appropriate the balance from the original $500,000.
Okay. That's what I'm asking. So you're saying you don't know which account the finance department has put these funds, but they have those funds. That's what you're telling, right?
You're unmuted, Mayor.
I believe the mayor wants to say something.
So here's the thing: is obviously Carol does not possess that information. Unfortunately, the finance director is not on the call or at the Zoom conference here. So why don't we answer this question tomorrow by you giving me a call, and I'll find out where exactly she's reappropriating those funds, because obviously Carol does not know where that is.
Okay, let's do this again.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't have anybody else in the chat. Ooh.
Clerk, please poll the council for a final vote.
Egan? Sorry. I muted you.
Yes.
Okay. Kafuta?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky? Parson? Or Pagano, sorry.
Oh, yes.
Parson?
Yeah.
Siam? Harris?
Yes.
And Manganelli?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bill number 9600 passes and becomes ordinance 8615. Next item is new business, board appointments. Any council appointments?
I do not have any hands up. Anybody? No? Okay.
Next item, mayor appointment. Mayor?
Yeah, I wish to reappoint Carrie Kenyon, Ward 6, to the Disability Awareness Commission.
Move for approval.
Second that. Move for approval. Mayor's appointing, second by Mr. Shildroff. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Appointment is made.
Wish to reappoint John Jaworski to the Senior Commission.
Moved.
Mr. Shildroff moves to approve. Second by myself. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Appointment is made.
Wish to appoint the following individuals to the Veterans Commission with the term expiring April 27, 2023. There's 6 of these individuals. Eric Sluter, Ward 5. Tim Reynolds, Ward 6. Ben Hernandez, Ward 9. Frank Tucker, Ward 9. Tammy Matthews, Ward 3. And Jimmy Bellman, Ward 6.
Moved. Second.
Mr. Shildroff moves to approve. Second by Ms. Pagano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Appointments are made.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next item is requests. Mr. Egan moves to approve a malt liquor and wine package liquor license for Family Dollar Store number 32338, located at 350 Hotter Show Road. Second by myself.
There's a question. Mr. Egan.
Jeff, I would move to suspend the rules to bring the petitioner forth so I could ask him a couple questions.
I'll second that.
Mr. Egan moves to suspend the rules, second by Mr. Shildroff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Okay. Michael Malooly is on the call.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Mooley. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I am the councilman for that ward, and that property and adjoining property seem to have a problem with trash that is blowing into the residential area of my ward. I know that it's not all of the Family Dollar's fault, but I guess my concern going into this, you get a lot of foot traffic from the apartments across the street. I guess my concern is, how can you guarantee to me that this is not going to increase my trash in the residential area? Right now, I already have a standing complaint with the city regarding trash that's been piling up against the fence and the wooded area just north of those buildings.
To be honest, this is the first I've heard of a trash problem at that location. The DM and actually the store manager have assured me that they've had no issues with trash there. At the last meeting that I attended, I made the commitment to get some extra trash barrels at some stores. We did that. I'll be happy to look at this location and make sure that the store people understand, and we're doing this at the West Florissant location now, is that we are out there sweeping the parking lot every single morning and making sure that our lot does stay clean. And again, I'm told that they keep a pretty neat trash container out back enclosure. So I'm not sure if the trash is just coming from customers or if it's a combination of customers and us. But I've committed to you guys in the past that we want to be a good citizen and control our trash, and that's certainly our commitment going forward.
I appreciate that, Mike. I'd be willing to, the city clerk can give you my email address and my phone number. I'd be willing to meet with you and the manager and the general manager and the store manager to show you what my concerns are and maybe get a commitment from you guys in person that we can work hard to keep the trash down in that area.
Yes, sir. I'll make it a personal appearance at that store. I'm not in town tomorrow, but on Thursday, and discuss it with both the DM and the store manager, and we'll be glad to follow up with you.
Very good. Thank you very much. I have no further, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Maganelli.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have one question. I know there's no hard alcohol with this, but will there be anything be sold that could be drank before they leave the premises? And basically, you know, it's the opportunity to be tossed onto the parking lot. So I know with the regular liquor stores, they have like the lack of a better term, the airplane bottles of booze. I didn't know if there are any small wine bottles or anything like that that would be for sale.
Some of our locations, and as of yet, we have no alcohol in any Missouri stores. It's my understanding we're waiting and going to roll it out all at once in the upcoming months. But we don't sell, obviously, any of the hard liquor, as you just said. We talked at the last meeting. We have single serve cans of beer that will be cold, and some of our locations in other states did have the smaller single serve like wine coolers. Now they're not as small as the airplane type bottles of beer. They're probably 2 to 3 times that size. That would probably be the smallest container we sell. And to be honest, I'm not sure if we're going to have those in Missouri at this point or not. I haven't seen the list of, until we get the licenses and go with the vendors. I haven't seen the product assortment. I just know that we are going to have the single serve cans cold.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manganelli. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Mr. Malooly. Remember the last time we came, we talked about the Florissant, the new Florissant store and some of the trash there. And I'm also concerned that the employees and the management stay on top of that. So I'm glad to hear that you've been assured that will stay clean. Over at the new Florissant store I drove by recently, and I saw that the trash barrel is kind of still on the other side away from the door. So maybe check on that one. But my question is about there's an ice dispenser in the parking lot there on Howder Shell. And I think when that came in, that was part of the same company as Family Video. I'm sorry, the Family Video. And I think that the Family Dollar is the same company. Is that true?
No.
Oh, okay.
We did pick up some of the locations from Family Video as they downsized or are getting out of the business, but we're completely separate entities.
Okay, so do you take care of that ice machine, or is that different?
That's someone else. That's not us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Shildroff.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Malooly, would I just like to ask you to please to continue to monitor the trash in all your stores on the parking lot. I did go by the one on Florissant Road today, and I think I saw one water bottle or something, and that was it. So, and I got that. So I do see you're making an effort, and I'm going to ask you to please keep up your end of the bargain. So, I know you sometimes don't have a lot of control out of it because your customers or people just walking by will throw trash on, unfortunately, streets or parking lot. But just please continue to monitor it, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shildroff. Is there anyone else? Mayor?
Yeah, Mike, I just wanted to tell you that I have received a couple complaints about the trash and things still out on that Florissant Road location. And I do go by there. And honestly, most times that I've seen it, it's been fine. But there's been a couple times that definitely needed some attention, such as I think last week, whoever cut your grass out in front of there chose not to pick up the trash prior. So they just cut up all of the trash that was in the horrible.
That's not good.
And so certainly, your guys are definitely doing a better job, but I think there's still a little bit of room for improvement there. And prior to the meeting tonight, I did go into the store tonight, and actually I was pretty surprised, pleasantly surprised that it was very clean, very well kept, and I just wanted to make sure that I let you know that there's good and bad, but I was really impressed with the store tonight. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Michael. Like the mayor said about I know I myself went by there and it was a mess at one time. It's probably, Mayor, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I think myself, Miss Pagano, and the mayor went by there, and it was a mess. We had a lot of gloves, unused gloves. It was right after the pandemic went in there and and people were just throwing all their gloves around and masks, and it was a mess. But we got a hold of the management there at the store, and they did get it cleaned up, and they were working on it, and it took them a while to get it cleaned up. But yeah, that's all we're asking is just to make sure you keep your managers up on this trash. I mean, if the way the wind blows on some of these buildings, the trash blown everywhere, but where the building where it's coming from. So, and we have to keep on that because we hear about it from our citizens about the trash coming from these stores. So, hopefully you can keep abreast on that and make sure you keep your managers squared away on that trash.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay. That was second by myself. Roll call, please.
Egan?
Yes.
Caputa?
No.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky? Where's Hanky?
He's
He's waving his head. Pagano?
No.
Parson?
No.
Siam?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Manganelli?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay, liquor licenses are approved malt liquor and wine. It has passed. It is granted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is resolution number 1014.
A joint resolution of the Florissant Mayor and City Council in support of Missouri legislation to pass Wayfair Internet sales legislation without a revenue-neutral clause.
I'll make a motion. We move for a second reading. Second by Ms. Pagano. Is there any discussion? I know myself, Ms. Pagano, and the mayor, we were in Jeff City, and this was when we were up there for the MML legislative conference. This was one of the big things up there that we discussed throughout the municipal league. And Mayor, wouldn't you say, Ms. Pagano, that 95, 100% of everybody that was there was for this?
Oh, absolutely. And, the big important part of this thing is making sure that it does not include the revenue neutral clause.
Correct.
So that was one of the things that we debated a lot up there. And it looks like they do have the bill that they're going to hopefully pass will not have that. So that's a huge part of it. But certainly that was a big topic when we were in Jeff City.
Yeah, that would have been a cap on any of the taxes, and it was very low. So it wouldn't have been good for the state or the municipalities.
Correct.
Any more discussion? Okay. Make a motion. We move for third reading, second by.
Wait a minute. I haven't read it for the second time yet.
That's a good one.
No. Yeah. A joint resolution of the Florissant Mayor and City Council in support of Missouri legislation to pass Wayfair Internet sales revenue neutral clause.
I'll move for a third reading, second by.
Second.
A second.
Ms. Pagano, all in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Yes. Egan?
Yes.
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky?
Yes.
Pagano?
Yes.
Parson?
Yeah.
Siam?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Manganelli?
Yes.
A joint resolution of the Florissant Mayor and City Council in support of Missouri legislation to pass Wayfair Internet sales legislation without a revenue-neutral clause.
For the final votes taken, does anyone in the audience like to speak on this resolution? Please ask your questions in the chat box.
I have no one.
Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for final vote.
Egan?
Aye.
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky?
Yes.
Pagano?
Yes.
Parson?
Yes.
Siam?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Manganelli?
Yes.
Resolution number 1014 passes. Next item is bill for first reading. Bill number 9601.
Ordinance to as amended by ordinance number 63808064 and 8224 to allow for additional permitted uses in a B5 zoning district for the property located at 3180 North Highway 67.
Bill number 9602.
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to Premier Auto Service Incorporated, DBA Premier Auto Service, to allow for an auto service and repair facility at 1890 and 1990 North Highway 67.
Next item is council announcement. Just going to go in order. Mr. Harris.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank everybody for patience with all the things that are closed right now. I see a lot of generosity and people reaching out to one another to help, and that's encouraging. I want to ask everybody to join the Neighborhood Watch. I think that's important now more than ever. And so I want you to join the Neighborhood Watch, and everybody just be safe and well.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Manganelli.
I just want to throw a shout out to a Ward 2 resident tonight, Mark Bellman, who was featured with his food pantry on Lindsay Lane. He represented the city and the ward very well tonight, and I thank him for everything he's doing to help out during this time. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Manganelli. Mr. Egan.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Especially during these very, very dark days, now is the time that we really need to support team more than ever. There are people who have never been hungry before and never had bare cabinets. I think I read a report that there's people that could be out of food within just a couple more weeks. So if you're down on the street down there, it doesn't hurt to drop off a 20 or drop some food off for team, because there's always somebody hungry morning, noon, and night. We see that the curve is starting to get flattened, and there very well may be light at the end of the tunnel. However, as I always tell people, that light at the end of the tunnel could be a freight train getting ready to run you over. It's very, very important that we don't drop our guard now, that we continue to socially distance, that we continually to wear our mask and behave properly in public spaces, and really not associate in big groups right now. And in just a few more weeks, this will hopefully begin to get behind us. Everyone be safe. Thank you very much. Can't wait till we see each other in person. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Shildroth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Egan, I wouldn't talk for everybody about seeing everybody in person. No, I'm just kidding. I have a resident in my ward, and I don't want to put her name out there because I didn't really tell her I was going to do this, but she emailed me, and she's making masks, and I had a difficulty finding a few for some friends who are not in good condition, and just somebody out of the blue, she came to my aid, and I'm very grateful. There's a lot of good people in our city, and I'm really proud that this lady lives in my ward, and I'll acknowledge her down the road, but I do want to thank her for doing that. There are a lot of people doing things like that, and please consider supporting our local restaurants. There's a lot of good ones out there, and I do the cooking at my house, and so when I want a night off, I go to certain places. I'm not going to name all of them because I'll leave somebody out, and then I'll have to pay those tabs I've been accumulating for all these years. But please consider the many Florissant restaurants for takeout. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Shildroff. Mr. Hinkie, do you have anything?
Yes. Short and sweet, kind of backing up Joe. This is getting trying. It's getting old, but now is not the time to let your guard down. We can get through this a little longer. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkie. Ms. Pagano?
No, I didn't have anything. Just wash your hands.
Okay. Mr. Parson?
I think everything has been pretty much well said, so everyone just be safe and check on your neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. Parson. Mr. Siam?
I don't have anything. I was just going to, like the others did, encourage everyone to stay safe and healthy during these times. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Siam. Yes, firearms. My normal announcement to your firearm owner, make sure you keep your firearms secured. Do not leave them in your car unsecured. Make sure you keep them secured in your home. If you can't be a responsible firearm, you shouldn't own it. You shouldn't own one. This next week, or would have been Valley of the Flowers. So, like we always say, that meeting before Valley of Flowers, make sure you keep your grass cut. Make sure everybody goes out, do some yard work. It's supposed to be nice coming up, and get some yard work done. Make sure that grass is cut. Some of these grasses are getting to be a little tall. So let's get out there, be conscious of your grass and keep it mowed, because our ordinances states 8 inches. 8 inches or higher. So make sure you cut them yourself, or the city don't have to do it. That's all I have.
Jeff?
Mayor?
Jeff? Gerard has his hand up. Gerard, did you?
Gerard.
Hang on.
You muted.
Go ahead.
I found it.
Oh, okay. Are you kidding me? Okay, thank you. He found the raise the hand. That was, yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Mayor?
Yeah, obviously, we're in some tough times right now, and kind of addressed some of the budget issues last meeting, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick update that starting today, our full-time employees went to a 24-hour work week, with the exception of the police department, uniform officers of the police department. And so they'll work 24 hours on our schedule, and there'll be 16 hours on unemployment. And we're looking at running this for several weeks anyway, and hopefully to take a little pressure off the budget. And we anticipate we're going to lose quite a bit of money through this tough time. And so just understand that some of the services may be affected by that. All I'm asking is just to please be patient. And, we're hopefully going to keep the grass cut in the parks and some of the potholes in the streets. And certainly our inspections will be getting done. It just may be a little bit of a delay. So I'm just asking people, just please be patient and understand that we have to make these tough decisions. And right now, the employees are accepting of this, and they understand. But obviously, it's very difficult for all of us. So I just ask that everybody be patient. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The next regular meeting of the Florissant City Council will be on Monday, May 11th, 2020. Mr. Shildroff moves to adjourn the regular meeting, second by Mr. Egan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, all.